Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Jessica. I'm a woman in long-term recovery, and on this channel I talk about things relating to recovery and addiction and harm reduction, some mental health things, and all things in between there. And just to give you a little introduction on what you've landed on if this is your first time on my channel. For those of you that are not new here, welcome back, you guys. Sorry that I missed my upload on Friday. If you followed along with me for a little while, you know that my boyfriend's daughter got married Thursday last week, so I just didn't have enough time to do a video. So thanks for being patient with me about that. But that's, just life. I wanted to come on today and talk to you guys about triggers. When I'm talking about it today, I mean more triggers like once you're in recovery and you find yourself in a situation or around people and something is going on and it triggers you. You know, you see something going on or something happens, etc., that triggers you and makes you think about using or makes you want to use, etc., something like that. And I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about that today. I normally don't struggle a lot with triggers because I have a little bit of recovery time under my belt. I have quite a few years of recovery time under my belt. So, I can kind of prepare myself when I know a situation is coming around. Like, I know if I'm going to be around people that are going to be using, I mentally prepare myself for it so it doesn't catch me unaware, or, I can just kind of prepare myself for certain situations or if I'm going to be around people or things like that. But when I started thinking about doing this video, I actually started thinking about doing it last week, but it kind of occurred to me because I was talking to a couple other people about it, and, I realized, not that I didn't already know it, but just kind of confirmed it for me and brought it more to the front of my consciousness that triggers don't just have to be you seeing somebody else using when you're in recovery. It doesn't have to be that you see your old drug of choice or you see someone else using. A trigger can be anything. When I was having a conversation the other day with some people talking about triggers, when I was thinking about doing this video for you guys, somebody else had mentioned how certain songs, if they hear them, it's a very triggering thing for them. And, music holds a very special place in my heart for a lot of reasons. Music has always been a very big part of my life. We didn't have TV when I was growing up. It's not that we didn't have it. It just wasn't a very big part of my childhood. I didn't have a lot of time in front of the TV when I was young. But what I can say is that always, I can always remember there always being music playing at my house when I was young. Music has always been a big part of my life. So I can fully understand how music is a big trigger to some people. There are certain songs that I used to listen to when I was using, and sometimes I'll skip over them. For the most part, music is not a trigger for me, but I said all of that because anything can be a trigger to you. So, don't think that it just has to be seeing your old drug or your old method of using or anything like that. Anything can be a trigger. So I just wanted to talk to you guys today just to let you know that, because I think anytime we're talking about addiction or mental health or anything like that, we feel like things have to fit into this little box. And anytime something comes up that we feel like doesn't fit in this box, that it's wrong. And that's just not the case. Substance use disorder, alcoholism, mental health, they all happen to people. And every single person in the world is so different. We're all so different that you can't just fit us all into this little box and say, okay, if you don't get triggered by X, Y, and Z then it's not a trigger. You can't classify it as a trigger. Life doesn't work that way. Recovery doesn't work that way. Addiction doesn't work that way. Our healing doesn't work that way. That's not the way all of this works. And I feel like the more that we try to tell people that they have to fit in this box for their healing journey or their recovery journey or whatever part of their journey that they're on, the more that we limit people and the more that we're hurting people. And I just don't like that. And I'm kind of stumbling over my words here, but I just want people to know that, it doesn't have to be this certain thing to trigger you. It doesn't have to be that you turn on the TV and you're watching a movie and there's drug use in the movie and it triggers you. It can be that you turn on the TV and you're sitting there watching a movie and a song comes on, or, somebody behaves in a certain way and it triggers you, and it triggers a response in your brain that makes you remember things a certain way. And, I know I feel like I'm really stumbling over this today, and I tried to sit down and make notes so it could be a nice cohesive video, but sometimes, that shit just doesn't work. So I gave up on it, to be honest with you. I gave up on making the notes, and I said, I'm just going to turn the camera on and speak to you guys from the heart, because, sometimes notes just don't get my point across. And notes just seem fake sometimes. I don't ever want to come on here and have you guys think, oh, well, she just, went on a website and wrote down a bunch of stuff that someone else said, and then she's coming on here and regurgitating it on her YouTube channel, because that's not my goal. And I don't ever want to come across that way to you guys, because it's not. Yeah, I do research for my videos, but I do that to make sure that the information that I'm giving you guys is true and correct, because there's already so much misinformation out there, especially about addiction and recovery, that I don't want to be adding to it. I don't want to add to the stigma. I don't want to add to the misinformation. So yeah, I do research, but when I come on and I talk about stuff like this, then sometimes there's no way to research it. I realized the other day that I was in a situation, and I prepared myself for this situation for weeks. I had prepared myself for this because I knew that I was going to be in a situation that I needed to be in. I needed to be there to support people that I loved and that I cared about, that were family. I also knew that when I was there, that there was going to be drinking and drug use there. So I prepared myself for it. And sometimes, even though you prepare yourself for those situations, the amount or the level that is going to be there, there's no way for you to prepare yourself for that. And sometimes all the preparation in the world flies out the window. So if you know that you're going to be in a situation that you feel may trigger you, then absolutely prepare yourself. If you have a counselor or a therapist that you see on a regular basis, talk to them. Counselors and therapists have invaluable information and coping mechanisms that they can pass on to you, and that they can work with you and teach you how to do things to prepare yourself. I know that there are some situations where I just have to walk away to catch my breath, to remove myself from the situation. Other ways that you can prepare yourself for is just, if you're going to an event or something with your significant other, be open and honest with them and tell them, I may need to leave early. Take two vehicles. So if you do need to leave early, you have the ability to leave early. If you don't have two vehicles, because I know that sometimes, that's not an option, then have your friends or your family members, if it's available to you, on standby. So you can call them and say, hey, if you guys can, when you get a chance, I need you to come and pick me up. Because there's nothing going on in the world that is worth putting your sobriety at risk for. And I don't care how long in recovery you have, a trigger puts your sobriety at risk. You can have years and years and years and years of sobriety, at your back. And if you put yourself in a situation where it's a constant trigger and it's something that you can't get away from, you're putting your sobriety at risk. And that's a very dangerous place to be. So you need to have a plan going into that situation to help you manage it while you are there, and a way to be able to remove yourself from that situation. And there's right ways and wrong ways to remove yourself from a situation. There's nothing going on in the world that is worth putting your sobriety at risk for. Nothing. And I know that when you're in the midst of a situation, you may think differently, but I beg of you to just step back from the situation for a minute, take a break, walk to the bathroom, step off to the side for a minute, do whatever it is that you can, and just remember what your active addiction was like. Because we all know how quickly we can fall back into that. And, our addiction will take over us. It's not something that we can control. And I guess that I shouldn't say we, because I don't speak for everybody. I know that for me, my addiction is not something that I can control. I'm not able to just socially use drugs once and then walk away from it. I know that if I ever pick up again, the game will be on. And I know that if I ever pick up again, I probably won't live through it. So that's why I say there's nothing going on in the world that you have to be there for that is worth putting your sobriety at risk. So be mindful of your triggers. And if you do have to be there for a situation, if something's going on in your family that you have to go and be present for a little while, and you think it's a situation that is going to be possibly triggering, and there's no way that you feel like you can not go, please have a plan in place. Prepare yourself for it as much as you can. Be able to stay in touch with someone while you are there that kind of grounds you and that you can talk to and be open and honest with while you are there. Have someone that is not there with you, a friend or family member, whoever, that knows what is going on, that knows how you feel, and that can come and get you and can take you home, because it's just not worth it. And that way, it kind of gives you a balancing act. You can be there to support your friends and family, but it also keeps you safe, and it keeps your sobriety safe, and everybody wins. You don't put yourself at an unnecessary risk, and your family is also supported. It's a fine line to walk, and I definitely would caution people that are in early recovery, just stay away from those situations. If you're in early recovery and you get an invitation to a family gathering, your friends are getting together, and you think there's a possibility that there might be drug use or drinking there, and you feel uncomfortable, just be honest with them and tell them, I don't feel secure enough in my recovery. I feel like I'm going to be uncomfortable there. And I think that I should wait a while before I come. Be honest with them. And to be completely honest with you, if those people get mad at you or upset with you, then they don't have your best interests at heart anyway. Those aren't the kind of people that you need in your life anyway. Because people that love you and cherish you and want the best for you won't put you in that situation. They won't ask you to be there and put your sobriety at risk, especially in early recovery. They're not going to, it's disrespectful. They're not going to ask you to do that. So if you do have people in your life that are pressuring you to go to events where there's drinking or drugs or drug use or, whatever it is that may put your sobriety at risk, and they're pressuring you to come, or if you tell them, no, I don't feel comfortable being there because of X, Y, and Z, and they still pressure you to come, you may want to step back and evaluate whether you need those people in your life or not. Because what you need in your life are people that understand the journey that you are on, why you were on it. And you need people in your life that are going to support that journey. They may not understand it, but you need people that are going to support it. And that's the biggest thing in the world right there. I can support a lot of people and not understand why they're doing what they're doing. I cannot agree with a lot of what people are doing in my life. And I can still support them, but I can also keep a distance from them because it's not healthy for me. And that took me a very long time to learn. And I had to get into recovery and do a lot of work for me and on me for me to be able to learn that. That's just something to keep in mind. It took me a long time in my recovery to realize, and I've talked about this in other videos, and how long it took me to realize that you kind of have to be selfish in recovery. Because if you're not selfish in recovery and you don't put your recovery before everything else, then all the other things in your life won't be there. And I really feel like that's really relevant today when we're talking about triggers, because all of the stuff that we talk about for recovery and all of it all rolls back to that. It all starts here with us. And if you don't make a conscious decision about what you want in your life and you don't stick to that, whether it's recovery, whether it's just reducing your harm and, lowering your use every day, or, complete abstinence, or whether it's working your maintenance program and sticking to that and going to counseling and therapy, or whatever it is in your life, if you don't make a plan to that and you don't stick to that, and you're not true to yourself, and you don't make the people around you in your life aware of your plan, and if the people around you in your life aren't aware of your plan, and if they don't respect your plan, then all of the work that you are doing falls to the wayside. You can do all of this other stuff, but if you continually put yourself in situations where you're triggered all the time, the chances that you're just going to finally give in are pretty high. And I don't want that for anybody. If you choose a path in your life that you don't want to use anymore, whether you're working a maintenance program or whether complete abstinence is your thing, whatever your thing is, because you guys know, and if you don't know, I'm going to tell you real quick, even if today's video is going to be long, and if it is long and you guys decide to click off of it, that's fine. But before you click off of it, just let me tell you this one thing. I don't just support abstinence. To me, I support all of it, whether it's lowering your use every day, whether you don't want to lower your use every day at all,
whether it is complete abstinence, whether you're on maintenance, whether you work a 12-step program, whether you're in smart recovery, whether you do RAP. Those are just the ones that pop into my head. Whether you've made up your own program and that is what you work, they're all fine with me. I support every single one of you. All of you. I support all the people that say that we're all junkies and that we'll never amount to anything because, that's fine. I know that it's complete and utter bullshit because I'm not just a junkie and I'm way more than my addiction was. My point all that is, please don't misunderstand me because I don't want to keep saying it doesn't matter to me and you guys take it as she doesn't care. I do care. I care about all of y'all. I care about... Sorry. I care about all of y'all so much. I wish that addiction did not exist at all because I know what's underneath there. I just want you to know that I support every single person out there. No matter what is going on. Even all the hateful comments I get. And I don't get a lot on YouTube yet. I may in the future. But I don't yet. I get more on TikTok. Calling me a junkie. I get more actually in real life. Calling me a junkie and telling me that I made the choice to ruin my life. And that's fine. That's fine with me. Sometimes it pisses me off and I lash out at people. That's fine with me. I still support those people because I know that hurt people hurt people. Because I used to be one of those people. And man, I was a mean motherfucker. And man, I could fucking hurt you if I wanted to with my words. And I would. And I did all the time. So please don't misunderstand it. Yeah, I talk about recovery a lot, but just because I talk about recovery doesn't mean that's the only thing that I support. So if you are on this video and you hear me talking about recovery, please don't click off of my videos thinking that that is the only thing that I support. Please don't, because I support it all. If you're sitting there scrolling through YouTube and you land on one of my videos and you're in active addiction and that is where you want to be and you think that I don't support you, please don't think that. Please don't think that, okay? And I kind of went off on a little tangent there, but I just want you all, anybody that ever watches this video, I want everybody that ever watches this video to know that. All right, back to triggers. There was talking about how I didn't do research because I said, if you keep putting yourself in situations, like repeated situations where you're triggered, the chances are that you're going to surrender, that you're going to give in and that you're going to start using again or you're going to start drinking again or whatever. So I just Googled on my phone, what is a trigger? Goodtherapy.org says, a trigger is a reminder of a past trauma. That's pretty dead on. This reminder can cause a person to feel overwhelming sadness, anxiety, or panic. It may also cause someone to have flashbacks. Who wants that? None of us, right? Triggers can take many forms. Maybe a physical location, an anniversary of a traumatic event, can be triggered by internal processes such as stress. Some of them are predictable. I'll link this article down below because it seems like it could be a pretty good one. Like I said, I've literally just Googled it here on camera. So it does say, some people use trigger in the context of other mental health concerns such as substance abuse or anxiety. In these cases, a trigger can be a cue that prompts an increase in symptoms. For example, a person recovering from anorexia may be triggered by photos of very thin celebrities. When the person sees these photos, they may feel the urge to starve themselves again. So that's what I mean. If we are constantly surrounding ourselves by triggers, whatever those triggers may be for us individually, we're going to feel the need to use again. And eventually, if we are constantly surrounding ourselves by those triggers, we're going to give in to that urge to use again. So, in a long-winded, roundabout, really emotional way today, if you have to go somewhere and support a friend or family member and you feel your presence there is absolutely required, have a plan. Prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, as much as you can. Communication is key in recovery. It's massive. Like, communication is key. We're not open books. And if we don't open our mouths and tell people how we are feeling, they have no idea. Especially if your significant other has no experience in substance use disorder or alcoholism, anything like that, they have no idea what we're going through. We have to open our mouths and tell them. So if they're going with you, just sit down before you guys go and tell them, this is what I'm worried about. This is what I think is going to happen. Can you please just help me? And y'all sit down and make a plan. Make a plan about what time you would like to leave. Or like I said earlier, if you have it available to you, take 2 vehicles. And that way your significant other can stay. If it's not going to cause any problems with them, if they don't have any issues, if they're not in recovery, and they can stay and it doesn't cause any issues for them, then if you have a second vehicle and you can leave, go and make your presence known. You offer your support for whatever the situation is that is going on, and it's a win-win. You don't put your sobriety at risk. You've given your support. You've shown your love, and you can go home and be happy and safe here and all around. It's a win-win for everybody. If you don't have it available to you that both of you can take a vehicle, then set it up beforehand that you can call somebody. If those aren't options to you, then have it set up beforehand that you can call somebody or text somebody while you're there during the event or whatever's going on, so that you can talk to them. They can keep you grounded. They can remind you, just hold on. You have X amount of time left, or you guys can be talking. And I know in certain situations that's going to seem to outsiders that are at the event, it's going to be seen as rude because there it is, everybody's mingling and talking you're on your phone. It doesn't have to be a every minute thing. You're looking down at your phone. You can step away to go to the restroom. And this day and age, everybody's on their friggin' phone all the friggin' time. So really, are people really gonna think that much about it? Probably not. And that leads me back to what I said earlier. If people are questioning what you're doing and you are open and honest with them and they're still pushing you to put yourself in a bad situation, those are people that you don't need in your life anyway, because there is nothing going on in the world that is worth putting your sobriety, your mental health, your emotional health at risk. Nothing. And if you have people in your life that are continuously doing that, they don't need to be in your life. They're not the right people for you. They're not your tribe. So just keep that in mind. But those are just some things that you can do. Keep yourself prepared. Have a plan going in. Let people in your life know, hey, if I give you a call, can you come and pick me up? This is where I'm going to be. This is how long I plan on staying. Blah, blah, blah. That's all you have to do. It gives you, not only will it give you a plan, an exit strategy, for lack of a better way to explain it, but it also gives you, if you're anything like me, when I do stuff like that, it gives me a sense of almost relief, knowing, okay, I got some solid footing underneath me, because I know if it gets to a point that I cannot handle it and I need to get out of here, I can shoot a text to my dad and he can come and get me, or I can call my daughter. She will come and get me out of here. I can step over to the side and tell Keith, hey, I got to go. I can't do this anymore. it just gives you solid footing for you to stand on. And it's just better for everybody around. It's a lot easier on you. And when you're in recovery, you have to be selfish about stuff like this. You have to. And I know it probably goes against so many of y'all's character to do that, to be selfish. And especially if you're in early recovery, because you feel like you've been selfish for a long time. You know, your addiction came first, and you probably weren't the greatest to people in your life, especially your loved ones. And you feel like you have to show up, and you have to be there, and you have to put on your best face, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. And I get that. But not if it comes at risking your sobriety. You don't. You do not have to do that. Absolutely not. And don't let any fucking body tell you different, because you don't have to. So just keep that in mind, you guys. And like I said earlier, I'll tell you guys this, and then I promise I'll wrap it up and I'll let you go. Just because somebody says, you know, a trigger has to be this or it has to be this, doesn't mean that it has to be this or it has to be this. If something triggers you in any way, shape, or form, and it makes you feel a certain type of way, that's a trigger for you. And that's all that matters. Doesn't matter if anybody else in the world has ever been triggered by that. Period. All that matters is that it affects you in a negative way, and you know that you need to stay away from it. That's it. That is all that matters about that. What matters about triggers is that it's something that you see, hear, taste, smell, witness, anything like that affects you in a negative way. And that you know, okay, I can't be around that. It upsets me, it hurts me, it makes me cry, it makes me want to use whatever that negative effect is. That's a trigger for you. Don't ever let anybody tell you different. And if it's a trigger for you, stay away from it. And again, if the people in your life are badgering you and constantly putting you in situations that are triggering for you, maybe those aren't the people you need to have in your life. You and your recovery and your pathway are what come first. Because you and your healthiness and your happiness are what matters above and beyond everything else. You have to be selfish in your recovery. You and your recovery have to come first, because if they don't come first, all the rest of the stuff that comes below that will never come. I'm living, breathing, walking proof of it. Just be careful. Protect yourselves. And look out for you, look out for your best interest, and don't be afraid to speak up about them and ask for help. Let everybody know what your wishes are. Okay? So that's it. I'll let you guys go. As always, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. If you guys need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me. All of my contact information is always in the description box below. You can find all my links to all my social media down there. My email is down there. If you guys need Narcan, or if you need to be trained in how to administer Narcan, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you need anything at all, somebody to listen to you while you talk, if you have questions for me, anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You guys, I'm constantly checking my DMs, my email, everything like that. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. Leave me a comment if you want to. And if you're not already part of this great family that I have and that I love, hit that subscribe button. I will see you guys on Friday, because we're going to get 2 uploads this week, because we are back to our regularly scheduled programming. I love you guys all so much. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I will see you guys on Friday.